Good morning, Collective. Coming up on the end of February, and we're all looking forward to March. I know we are. It's been quite the month, February, month of love. And today we are going to talk about childhood and innocence. Let's take a deep breath right now because we're going to transport ourselves back in time. Time travel. Not as hard as it seems. Going to go right here. And we're going to see our child, our inner child. If you can, go back to 5 years old. And the first thing you want to do when you see that little girl at 5 is to grab her up and give her a hug and tell her how precious she is, or he is, because they are. That child of 5 years old, and right now, I see that little girl outside playing in the field, pulling grass, making her little straw hat crown that she's putting on her head. And that was my little girl, and I remember her very well. And there was a time when I didn't love myself. I didn't care about me or what happened to me, and I just let anybody treat me any old way. And God got upset by that. The Holy Spirit actually stood up for me and said that I had to change. And I had to learn to protect that little girl that never found no adults to protect her. And what do I mean by that? Well, as children, we don't always have an outlet to speak of things that are going on within us or around us. And sometimes, even if we do have an outlet, they don't understand what we're saying. So children and adults are kind of worlds apart. And the most that we can get and the best is empathy and compassion from our parents and understanding of our childhood fears, because childhood fears, aren't the same as adult fears. The adult fears not being able to pay the bills and make a place, keep the nest clean, and, such as that, adult fears. Childhood fears, it seems like there's monsters out there, and there are for children. Children are very vulnerable, and we really need to question them and talk to them about the things that most people don't. And one of those things that are very important is our basic nature and our sacred parts, which is our reproductive organs. And we know that sometimes there are things that go on in life, and we don't always get this opportunity to start talking and questioning our kids, which we should talk to them about their body and how it belongs to them and how they have a right to say, no, don't touch. So myself, I experience things, and most of us have. But that's not really what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is the defense of helping children not to experience these things. And what I want to talk about is how we question our children and teach them about sex, because if you don't teach your children, somebody else will, okay? If you don't teach your children, your morals, your ideal of what sex is, then they will never know. Nobody ever told me. I did not start off in life knowing that sex was a sacred thing. It took a long time for me to realize that it's one of the most sacred things in life, because sex can bring forth another life, and that is a big responsibility to bring a life into this world, about caring for it and being able to watch over it and make sure that it's nurtured and grown up out of the garden without a bunch of weeds around it that's going to kill it or deplete it or take away its nourishment. It's this that we worry about when we have our child. So I split it here, and we've got the sun, which is truth, and six of fire, higher mind, higher consciousness, higher levels. So what we're talking about today is innocence in our child and helping them to keep that innocence for as long as possible. This is a hard subject. I got page of air. Pages are all messengers. Talking about sex is a very difficult subject. I never did get a sex talk. I learned everything from experience. And those of you who are like me, who learn from experience, know that experience is not always the best way. That it would have been nice to have an introduction into um, the adult world of responsibility with sex, to have some ley lines out there about sex and the responsibility it carries of bringing another human life onto this planet. So we're going to stop for a minute and we're going to look at this page there. As you can see, this is an angelic message, a message from higher realms that I'm bringing to us today. Not only is it important to go back and visit with our inner child often to let it know that it's loved so that we can have joy. You want to go get your inner child from wherever the last time you saw that child and bring it with you to where you are now to have that spirit of spontaneity, creativity, fun, that connection with your inner image of God. That's your inner child. That's your inner child. So I am going to read from Page of Air because it's messenger, and I am bringing you a message today. And the message is that your inner child is as important as, any other. What I'm saying, your children are very important, but learn how to nurture your inner child so you can know how to nurture your real child. And you both can grow together. We haven't always been taught to look back to our inner child and to nurture that child and to go to the places that it was hurt where nobody understood so that we ourselves can gather that child up and bring it back to where we are right now in this time. Messenger of Air. Nope, that's Page of Air. Page of Air, new ideas, a theory not yet proven, curiosity, new focus. This calls for greater investigation as we've only watched the surface. I don't really know. That's interesting. If I explore this way of thinking, what can I learn? Can you learn something? Yes. So the Page of Air, I guess, is not the messenger. But in a way he is, because it's a new idea. And it is only a theory because you don't hear this going on out in the world and you haven't been told maybe to do this. But what I'm saying is I have done it and it worked for me. I wasn't always happy. Like I say, I don't want to go back to my life, but I've only found joy in this last year when I began doing my inner work on my inner chakras, on my tree of life, and visiting my little girl out by that tree. Out by that tree that I've been seeing for years and years and years that I didn't know is me is where all my loved ones are, and I see them anytime I need be. My imagination is as powerful as the real world, and so is yours. And you can develop it, and it is your fifth dimension. It is the place where you will find the peace and heaven. And, you can bring that right here with you to this planet. So remember, we're talking about new ideas, a theory not yet proven. It's a curiosity, and it's a new focus to think about your inner child and your inner world, that you can bring it out to meet your child, where you two can talk about things that are childlike and innocence. It brings back your innocence, your godhood, your love of life, your joy and spontaneity. Always work on your inner child, because it's very important. You want to stay a child forever. I'll never grow up. I'll always be a child of God. And how can I see myself as a COG, a cog, a child of God? Well, I'll tell you, God's billions and trillions of years old. I'll never be that old in this human life. And as long as I'm on this earth and manifested in the human flesh, I will need guidance. I will need guidance. So I will look to God for guidance, the spirit, the inner world, where the map is. And I will work from there. 4 water, 4 cups. The mermaid coming up out of the water, I see her offering bubbles. Bubbles of protection, bubbles of lightness. And she looks very, very serious. She got a crown over her head. The 4 of water. Dreaming and introspection, contemplation, trusting in the abundance of opportunities. Opportunity has come your way. Trust in that. And remember that your abundance lies in your inner child, in your innocence, in the beauty that you find in everyday life. It takes away the jadedness and the, oh, everything's going to be just like it was yesterday. It's all the same. Oh, yeah, we know that. No, we want to find that inner child. 4 water. A law in the action offers a chance for you to dream even bigger than before. Whenever plans turn out not to have come to fruition as expected, we feel secure knowing that even greater things may await us. The universe conspires on our behalf, and disappointment and sadness will wash through us if we simply let them flow. I trust that Spirit has many ways of responding to our desires, and what we seek can take a variety of forms. I have faith in perfect timing and divine order. I want to go back that disappointment and sadness will wash through. So when we go back and work on healing our inner child, of course we're going to cry. If it hurt, if we are hurt, if something hurt and nobody helped us heal, well, then we will cry. You know, there will be tears of sadness, but you know this, once you cry those tears of sadness and grief and release those emotions and comfort yourself and tell yourself you deserve love, you deserve value, you deserve to value yourself and to value that precious child you are, you'll understand why God loves you so much and how much He values you. Because that's how God values you, you see. And we cry and we get rid of the sadness and the pain of our inner child. And while we work on our inner child, we can also help our own children grow and helping them work on their problems now, that they don't have to wait till 60 to go back to take care of the inner child that was neglected or ignored or disappointed, and however it works. So now, dear God, Holy Spirit, show us the outcome. Show us the outcome of working with our little girl, our little boy, finding innocence, childhood innocence again. See the garden. See him in the garden. Isn't that just a beautiful picture? Look at him. Yeah, childhood innocence back in the garden. Sun shining on him, light and bright. And that is the feeling we are all looking for, where we feel like the sun is shining on us light and bright. And we find that in our childhood innocence. When we go back to that little one that had no clue what was going on, and all it needed was some love and comfort. But everyone was so busy, or maybe we didn't even know we needed it, and we just said, toughen up, be tough. That's what I always heard. You're strong, you'll be okay. And they were right. I was strong. I would be okay. But I'd have been even better if I'd have had somebody to comfort me, right? Right? So I went back and comforted myself. And that's why I sit here today. Strong, solitary, individual, independent. Because I love myself. And that's what I'm trying to teach you, to learn to love yourself, to be independent, solitary, individual. Know yourself. And when you know yourself, everybody else knows that you know it. Ace of Fire. Fire. Boom, boom, boom. I love fire because fire is action. Fire is movement. It says to me that you are absolutely hearing what I'm saying and that it's resonating and catching a fire. And so, Ace of Fire, spirit-powered action, inspired transformation, access to co-creative power. And this is what happens when you go through these things, even if you doubt, even if you come out of it crying and emotionally upset, all it's going to do is comfort that inner child within you and release that energy. Let that energy go. Cry, get upset, cry out. Do what you need to do, but release any energies that are stuck within that come from childhood wounding. And love yourself through it. Love that child. Go back through here to the very child that was hurt and become the parent. I was taught this because my grandma came to me in my inner child when I was a child. And I learned later that because I'm a mystical healer, I'm almost thinking that could have been me where I'm at now. And I went back to comfort my inner child, and that my inner child in that time and space saw it because I had a vision of my grandmother when I was 3-4 years old that appeared on the ceiling of my bedroom, and she looks just like me and I look just like her. So I wonder if I did not go back in time and heal that little girl by telling her, honey, everything is going to be okay. Day by day, you will live and survive and grow through this whole life long. So we have Ace of Fire. Spirit-powered action, inspired transformation, access to co-creative power. I told you your inner child is God's companion. You and your inner child and God, the creator, source of the universe, will co-create and work together through the innocence of your inner child. And that's a magnificent thing. Magnificent. And I've told you how to find that inner child by going back in time through your third eye. The quantum field is right here. You enter the quantum field, or you leave time when you go into your imagination, and there is no time. You walk right into where you want to be. When you feel your connection to spirit, you see unlimited potential for transformation. There's no reason to fear because you are supported fully in imagining something new and daring to make it happen. This is a time to dream big. You can be bold and free because Spirit inspires you to turn your dreams into reality. By learning to love yourself and learning to love your children will make this world a better place where we can all play and frolic and come together in understanding. Just because we're grown to 60 years old don't mean we can't have the mind and innocence of a child. That's right, 6 of air. Sailing to a new place, moving in to another shore. This is your imagination going back to meet your inner child. Yeah, I'm going to read that 6 of air. I'm into reading this morning, okay? 6 of air. You see the guides, the intuition, the guides, the spirits, the angels. They're guiding him across the waters of time to the imagination, to the child. Going back to that child. 6 of air. Going back to the child. A rite of passage. A necessary change in thinking to gain greater wisdom. It's a necessary change. You want to do that. You want to go and get your inner child for greater wisdom and innocence and more fun in your life and more spontaneity and new ideas and new creations. Remember how when you were a child, how just your imagination would flare and you could have an idea and whoosh, you were off doing it. You didn't worry what you had. You didn't worry about tools. You didn't worry about anything else. You just started working on your idea. You're going to have a restaurant. I love to have a restaurant. Salt and pepper soup. To me, everybody should love it. However turbulent the waters at the moment, you trust that you will create calm within. Even if it's scary to go back and visit that child, you must. No matter what that child went through, you must go visit your inner child. It needs to see you. He needs you. You are conditioned to expect troubles ahead. But you have shifted your awareness and know that you can choose to believe that stepping into the unknown will bring you to what you truly desire. You are in a transition to something better. So move to something better, calmer waters, learn to love yourself, learn to love your inner child, and learn to love your children and talk to them about the sacred things, the things that no one ever mentions, and that's sex. A lot of people don't talk about sex. Make sure that your children are okay with their babysitters, with their friends, with wherever they're going and doing. It's a hard subject to approach, and most of us have been, need to work through things. A lot of us do, and I'm reaching out to those of you who need the help with it. And it's not hard. Just love it. Forgive everything. We'll never forget, but forgive and make sure you love your inner child. Bring it with you. The inner child forgives easy. The inner child forgets quickly. That little one just wants to go play in the future. It wants to be pulled out of the past to where you are now. Creation. Creating something better, harmony, balance. Look at that, isn't that beautiful? 8 of Pentacles. Making things work out. Bringing balance, harmony, precision. Because to play one of these babies, you got to have some precision. And you know what? In our life, in our inner world, we should be precise. Like, we should know what we're doing, and we should know who we are, and we should know where we've been, and we should understand our wisdom. And we should count all that. See all those 8 coins above the balance of this beautiful cello? And look at the tiny little child playing it. You see? That's where you want to go. You want to go back to that little child and then heal it, comfort it, take care of it, so that you can take care of your children as they're growing through this life. This says a lot to me. Look at the tree. See the tree at the top? The roots. You got to go down to the roots. See the roots on this side and this side. Okay? See the roots of this tree going down through that guitar. You got to go to the roots. The root of anything that's going on in your life, the root of it is in your childhood. Anything that's happening in your life right now. So, and you know that baby was awesome. You know it. No child's born in sin. No child is born, we're all beautiful. We're born beautiful, and we grow beautifully, and we're going to mature into a whole new brand of people. We're going to bring heaven to earth, and we're going to do it for our children, because they deserve a good future. Because every child brought to this planet is a spiritual soul having a human experience, and they want to experience love. They want to experience fun. They want to experience life in a way that is not detrimental, but creative and uplifting, and to grow in this garden of love. And that's what it is. It's a garden of love. This says you need to talk better to yourself, to love yourself more. 8 of air. Yeah. 8 of air. Release all fear, all trepidation, all thoughts that are bad about yourself. Release them. Let them go, so that you can be here. And releasing those thoughts, you will give your own self consolation and counsel. You don't need a psychiatrist. I went to psychiatrists for years. For years I went to psychiatrists. You don't need a psychiatrist. You can be your own psychiatrist. And you can use the Holy Spirit to pinpoint and show you the places that are your owies. Hermit. You go into hermit mode. Virgo. I went there. I went into hermit mode for 2 years. Well, 18 months, okay? 18 months. I'm just coming out this last month. And I learned so much about myself. Now, I'm not telling everybody to go in your room, shut the door, and stay in there for 2 years, okay? Because that's just not reasonable for most people. But I'm not most people. I had been on the road for 10 years, homeless. I had been through a lot of rough things in my life, and it was all, every time I thought something happened, I thought I was going to be homeless. I got homeless. I thought I'd be betrayed. I'd get betrayed. I realized my thinking expected this, and so I was like a magnet drawing the bad things to me. So I had to change everything about my perception of life, and I did, and But the reason I went into hermit mode to do that was I finally got a home after 10 years, and I could pay the rent with the money that I had, and I was able to go into hermit mode and work on my self-development and learn more about myself and why I kept finding myself in these drastic situations that I was finding myself. And so when I come out of hermit mode, I came out realizing that I am a valuable human being and that I do care about everybody, and that that's why I truly am loved by the universe and the spirit, and they truly do want to give me good things. And it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. Okay? Because I never thought I was special. I never thought nothing good about myself. In fact, I thought I was the worst mother, the worst everything. But God tells me no. No, I wasn't. I was a unmothered mother trying to do the best I could. And so I understand that because there was always love in my heart for my children and for all the people around me. And I know you are just like that too, because we as mothers run that way. I'm going to take one more card from the chrysalis, and we are talking about our childhood innocence, how to find it again, how to learn to be happy. And no, you don't need to go into hermit mode for 2 years, but maybe take an hour a week to go and, just close your eyes and breathe deep and listen to some quiet music while you visit your child. You don't need words and music, just some good, quiet, soft, gentle music that'll get you where you need to go. You're traveling through time and space to go back and visit. So, ride the chariot. The moon will take you there. Ride the chariot. Go through time and space. This is Cancer, and Cancer rules the chariot. And the chariot takes you through time and space. It can take you back in time. It can take you forward in time. Everybody, when you get on this chariot and you ride this chariot back in time to go visit your inner child, you will truly be there with her, with him. Doesn't matter. And this is a wonderful, wonderful card. Yes, go right here. Is where you see it at in your mind's eye. Yeah, your mind's eye, they call it that, but it's the third eye or the pineal gland or your spiritual center. Knight of Stones, Knight of Pentacles. This Knight of Pentacles is different than the usual Knight of Pentacles. Usually you see a horse and a guy who's been working and working and working, and he's just exhausted. And this Knight of Pentacles, this is a spiritualist, okay? This guy, when you work through the spiritual realm, you only get renewed and refreshed. And so he's working spiritual works, and that's what this is all about. And see the dove of love. Let's see if I get it there. Yes, you see the dove. And so that's all about love, and he's releasing that love because he's been to visit that inner child. That's traveling, that's time, flying through time, flying, air, mind. Use your mind and go back to your heart. I love you guys. Have a wonderful day, collective. I'm counting on you. I love you. We need to heal so we can change the world. When we heal everybody. We heal. Let's be healing and understand our value and worth, because we don't know how valuable we are until we've healed, so we can understand that. You're very worthy of all good things. I love you. God bless. Bye-bye.